You're listening to the Nothing Podcast with Nobody Important, where a group of nobodies speak to an actual somebody. And now your hosts, John and Frank.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm John.
I'm Frank.
And you are listening to the Nothing Podcast
With Nobody Important.
Listen, Frank, we have had some big guests come through here.
Yep.
Some regular guests come through here.
Yep.
And a lot of good nobodies that have come through here, too.
Oh, yeah.
But this time, I gotta tell you, I'm excited.
Yeah. Theater kids rejoice. Your king has landed.
The man himself, Andrew Barth Feldman, sat down with us for an interview after coming off his 1-year stint as Evan Hansen on Broadway in Dear Evan Hansen. We've known Andrew for a very long time. He's an old friend of ours. We've performed together. We've grown together. No, not really. We were grown by the time we met him. But
we're much older than him.
Yeah. But no, I mean, we've been friends with him for a long time. We haven't really had the opportunity to sit and talk about this with him.
And we've seen him do other interviews because we know him, so we wanted to make this an interview like no other. We're not asking the usual stuff of Andrew Barth Feldman.
No Broadway.com stuff here.
No. This is the real Andrew.
Yeah, we get into talking about Star Wars and Muppets and Disney and Broadway, of course.
Yeah.
His past, his present, and his future. And we brought in a special guest for him as well, but we're not going to spoil that for you. You can hear him if you listen very carefully, or someone with terrible audio quality at the end.
Sounds like he's broadcasting from the bottom of the ocean in a tin can.
Yes. Or for you Broadway people, maybe we should make it more pointed towards Broadway people. Sounds like he's coming from Newfoundland, right?
Is that a come from away joke?
It's a come from away joke, yeah. I'm trying to stay relevant. Got all these Broadway kids listening.
Let's do another take on this one for the Broadway people. Or for you Broadway people listening, it sounds like he's coming from inside of a really hot cat costume.
So, sign the casts on your arms.
Break out the chocolate milk.
Iron your striped blue polos.
And hand yourself over to Jordan Fisher.
And please welcome this week's guest.
I'm Andrew Barth Feldman, and I was Evan Hansen on Broadway.
All right, everybody, welcome to Broadway Jackbox. With,
No, wait, that's not ours. No, that's not ours.
No, but we do have here with us our good friend, our old friend, Andrew Barth Feldman.
Hi, guys.
How are you, Brother Barth?
I'm great. As great as I can be with all this.
I know. It's crazy.
Yep.
It's good to be Zooming with you.
It's great to be Zooming. I've been loving Zoom.
It's so weird that the whole world is just Zooming. I don't know what that means.
The guy who made Zoom can you imagine the day this happened, like, how happy he was? Like,
right.
He just hit one lot. And he made this before, and he was like, I made this little thing. It's not a big deal. And now he's, like, this big guy, you know?
I like to picture him on the phone with his mother in his conference room, and then coronavirus comes on the screen, and he just goes, Mom, I gotta call you back. Anyway, so welcome, Andrew.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I'm so happy I could finally be on the podcast.
I know. I feel like we haven't spoken to you since before the whole Evan Hansen thing. Well, not that we haven't spoken to you. We've spoken to you, but not like this.
I haven't spoken to anyone. I haven't gotten to see anyone the whole year. It's been great because now I'm seeing all my friends again all the time.
No, you're not.
And
no, you're not.
We're zooming. We're zooming often.
Literally, you stopped being in the show, and now you're in quarantine.
Yes.
What was more fun, Andrew? Quarantine or being Evan Hansen on Broadway?
Fun. I would use the word fun to describe this more than being Evan Hansen.
Yeah.
Because I've been having a great time, like, making stuff and writing and zooming with my friends and such. Whereas Evan Hansen was an enlightening time. I don't know if I'd use the word fun to categorize it all.
Well, I have to ask you. So now you said you haven't spoken to really anybody. When was the last time you've spoken to people with as few followers as we have?
We are so far from a blue check mark, you have no idea.
No, it's actually been weird because I sort of discovered that I have trouble, and this has always been a problem of mine, but now it's just on a bigger scale, that I can't discern, like, friend groups, and I'm using air quotes right now for the people listening at home. I can't differentiate between them. So I've always lumped everyone in together, and like that's how my theater company came to be. Was I was like, I'll grab this person, this person, this person, and now they're all friends. But like now I'm doing that with like Jordan Fisher and like all these famous
and
people.
Danielle Fisher.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Well, so at the end of the day, just to put a cap on that, at the end of the day, it's okay that you do that because it doesn't matter.
I love
people.
it.
People are people. What the hell's the difference?
We've been having this thing called the party line, my friends and I have been doing every night, where we just like go on Zoom and whoever comes. And some nights it's like just a couple of my friends from theater here, and then sometimes it's like Olivia Rodrigo from the High School Musical series, or like Rachel Zegler who's playing Maria, and like just weird people that I'll text and be like, do you want to like, are you bored? Do you want to?
Yeah, Andrew, that's so weird, and we're just here too at night, just not doing anything.
Yeah, just hanging
Netflix.
out. I'd like to talk to Olivia Rodrigo. I watched all of Bizaardvark when I worked at Disney.
Did you really?
Well, yeah.
she is amazing.
Yeah, she's
and
great.
she's this like one of the sweetest souls I've ever met in my life. She is
she's
so
really cool.
Nice and wonderful.
She's very talented. Yeah, I discovered her because at the time I was working at Disney Plus, and I watched and I watched all of the High School Musical series, and then
I love it.
I watched all of Bizaardvark because I just did. I don't know.
Wow. Can
I'm
I open
obsessed
with
with it.
May I open with the first formal question of the evening?
Please.
Thank you, John. I know you love my smooth segue where I just barrel.
You know
through
I
the
love a
High School
good
Musical.
segue, Frank.
Andrew, in all honesty, you founded your own production company as a child. You're a Broadway star at 17. You're going to Harvard next. Why? What are you trying to prove?
This is
like, we
great.
get it. Enough. We get it.
I don't know. I just like doing stuff, I guess. The
That's
Harvard
kind of
thing,
the answer, right?
The Harvard thing was really my mom's thing more than mine. I'm very excited about it, but she was a college admissions counselor, so it was really like that she sort of set me on this path. The other stuff was just stuff I really wanted to do. So, and I obviously really want to do Harvard. And I'm really excited about it, but I would not have like worked nearly as hard as I did to get there if not for her pushing me.
So you did work hard to get there.
I did work really hard to get there. It's possible that I didn't. It could have.
The reason I asked, did you have to work hard, was because when you posted that you were going to Harvard, Danielle and I both turned to each other and went, "Oh yeah, that makes sense."
That's nice.
So like we kind of figured you probably didn't have to try that hard because it's just like, yeah, all right.
Sure. Where's he going to go? Kingsborough? I mean, no, you can't.
I remember I did a reading with
offense.
Andrew Kober, who's a wonderful, wonderful actor. And it was his first time meeting me. And I sang this like song in the reading. He was like, "Good luck at Point Park or wherever the hell you're going, kid." Like as a bit of, yeah, I don't know. I did work really, really hard on like my ACTs and in school and stuff. And it like, you know, it sucked. But looking back, I'm like, yeah, that's good that I did that.
Well, yeah.
What are you going to major in?
I'm planning on concentrating in it's one concentration called theater, dance, and media, but focusing in like directing and writing and hopefully having a secondary concentration in music. So.
It's highly likely you're going to have a show on Broadway as a writer.
I'd very much like to. I currently have a play that I've written with a friend of mine.
How's he supposed to answer that?
Nothing. He didn't have to say
wasn't
anything. I'm just putting it out there.
We're currently workshopping a
question.
play that I'm actually very, very, very excited about, and we're working on getting it production going. So I'm very excited about it. Is
it a musical?
Actually.
Wow,
Yeah.
I'm out.
Oh.
But I think we should give a little background.
How we all know each other?
Yes, how we all kind of know each other. So, Andrew, I guess
You want me to do it?
I'll give you the chance to talk about.
So one of my best friends in the whole entire world is named Steven Wagner, and we've known each other since second grade. He's my best friend, and he did.
You guys keep no secrets from each other, right?
No, we really don't actually.
That's the kind of friend
now
you
that I
need.
think
Me and
about
Frank
it.
are the same way.
Yeah, not a single. I don't think. Yeah, no secrets. I've known him since second grade, and he did shows at the Rockaway Theater Company, which you did shows at, the both of you. And so I started like seeing shows there, and then as I did like more and more theater that was just like out of the way, it just didn't really seem like a thing to go to because Rockaway's not very close to me. It's 40 minutes away. But I was going all over the place to do crazy theater, and Steven was saying I should start doing shows at RTC, so I did, and I did Legally Blonde and Seussical at the same time, the junior versions of both of those shows, and then I got to be in some of the main stage shows. So I'm trying to think, what shows did I do with you, Frank?
You did that. Did we ever do a show together? Like kids, you were the kids, and he was with Aiden, right? Weren't you in that, Frank?
No.
I don't think he was in Lost in Yonkers, if that's what you're thinking of.
Oh,
did I ever direct you in a
No,
show?
I don't think so. No. I did tech.
You did The Little
for
Mermaid?
Lacage. So that we were there together. We were just there together a lot. And
You also did tech for.
I did tech for Cuckoo's Nest.
Cuckoo's Nest.
That's
Cuckoo's
right.
Nest.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's it.
That was,
That's right.
That was the one
time
thing
ago.
where we were
Yeah,
all
yeah,
involved
yeah.
together.
Yeah, that was nice.
No, I'm gonna say, actually, John, we all were in a. We will not name it. We were all in a web series
Yes,
together.
that's true. We were.
And I want to know.
I was just talking
wanna
about this
ask
the
you
other
two
day.
gentlemen,
You gave me you gave me an award, a fake award, or maybe it wasn't you. Somebody gave me.
It wasn't him.
Oh, it must have been
No.
Eric.
Eric.
Must
That
have
was
been
Eric.
Eric gave me a fake
Eric.
award that was like best featured actor in a web series.
Mine is here somewhere.
Yeah,
Mine is here
yeah.
somewhere as well.
And
I threw mine out.
my aunt, whenever she sort of like rearranges my room, she can't seem to like differentiate between that award and like my real like Jimmy Award. So it's on the same shelf as my Jimmy Award, my Roger Rees Award. Yeah, that web series was not good. I remember Aiden texted me like the night before it was supposed to come out. And he said, "Can you watch this and tell me if it's bad?" And I watched it and I was like, "Yeah, it's bad." And he was like, "Should I not release it?"
Well, not to Aiden's discredit. I don't think the writing was bad.
It didn't go well. It didn't go the way it was supposed to go.
there was a microphone hanging off of a clothes hanger.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
John,
had a
we did a handful of shows together.
Yes, we did a bunch of stuff together.
We did Guys and Dolls.
Yep, we did Follies.
That's right. We did Follies.
You worked on Little Shop.
I did work on Little Shop. We did Cafe.
Yes, we did. So that's funny is that there is one video somewhere of you and I singing a duet of A Day in the Life.
A Day in the Life. That's right, because you and Steven... No, you switched off with Steven. Yes, that's right.
Yes. So there's a video of you and Steven doing it, and there's a video of you and I doing it. The one of you and I doing it, the audio is so poorly blown out that literally it sounds like two people shouting into a can. It's very, very bad.
So I had to learn two harmonies because there was a higher harmony and a lower harmony, and I was with Steven, and so Steven's like a baritone bass guy, so I did the higher harmony, but you were like, I don't want to do the freaking lower harmony, I'm taking the higher harmony. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll learn the lower harmony also.
That's right. I refused to do the low harmony.
You did refuse to do the low harmony. We also did the Blues Brothers number together, though.
Well, that's right. Well, that's my claim to fame will always be that I
Oh,
taught
wow.
Andrew Barth Feldman how to dance like the Blues Brothers. Well, not really. I didn't really teach you how to do it, but I made you watch the movie.
You did. Yeah, Steve. It was more Steven doing the dancing.
No, you guys were. That was great. That was a good time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah,
For all
there's
you
some
Broadway nerds
great.
out there.
There's a great video somewhere. I should put it on the internet of me and Steven.
Yeah.
And Steven's just being an absolute wacko, and I am
There's a
singing.
gif of the three of us doing it somewhere.
That's right, a boomerang of the three of us
there is
outside
not.
doing it.
Yes,
Yeah, that's great.
there is. Yeah, and I guarantee you there's going to be some Broadway nerd right
That
now.
finds it. It's on my
searching for it.
Instagram. It's on my Instagram.
I have to put this out. For all of you young Broadway obsessed fans who are listening right now, we are Broadway people. We've interviewed Nancy Opal on here. We have interviewed the puppeteer from King Kong. I know he's your favorite. But I need...
They love Danny Miller, the facial puppeteer of the Kong
need
puppet.
all of you Broadway fans out there who are listening to know this. This isn't a Broadway podcast, but come back. After Andrew leaves...
It's pretty
maybe
great.
You guys,
Come
maybe
back.
you guys like cartography. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe you like
I
longshoremen.
was very thankful, Andrew, when we first started this podcast that you supported it and shared it. And we were like, wow, Andrew shared it. That's going to get us a lot of, And then we were like, oh, he shared it on his Facebook where only his friends are.
No, I shared it on Instagram.
I don't remember. I'm only kidding. I don't remember.
He's just
I'm just being stupid.
ripping into you.
Andrew, let me ask you this. Let me ask you the tough question. So during the run of Dear Evan Hansen, you had your own personal bodyguard. Since you've left the show, are you just a walking target now?
No, but I do get recognized sometimes. A lot in the theater district.
Sure.
Weirdly, a pretty big amount when I was in Disney World recently. I got recognized like 7 or 8 times a day. There was actually one girl who, and if she's listening, like, I appreciate this a lot. She came up to me and she was like, "Hi, I'm a really big fan. Can I take a picture?" I said, "Of course." As she's taking out her phone to take the picture, I look and her wallpaper is me.
Oh.
No.
I appreciate that.
No.
I appreciate that. Yeah. So
that's cool.
I'm yes and no. I'm good at avoiding it when I have to. Like when I'm really going somewhere, I can really say like I really have to get going. But it's so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for your support and everything. But I do love meeting people.
Yeah. So. How have you dealt with that transition now of having to Okay. So we do have to actually have conversations on this show. And, you kind of started this journey as far as the public eye goes. We know that you've been on this journey for a lot longer. You don't know this, but when you would not be around, we would always, the three of us and a lot of other people would always say it's just like, oh yeah, he's gonna be famous. That's
very nice.
So none of this was a surprise to the people who've known you as long as we've known you, right? But for you, also knowing you, didn't see this coming. So you didn't have the time like these seasoned performers have to prepare their, oh, thank you very much, accept your compliments. How did you develop that? Were you weird at first? Even now, we're saying these things to you and you're like, yeah, well, thanks. I'm like, I wouldn't be able to,
The thing about me is I've just always been a completely open book my whole life. I've never really been anything less than myself. And that wasn't something I really realized until this year. When I was just I just went on social media or would meet someone in real life and just be weird and make poop jokes. And that's just what I did. And I never stopped or never really questioned it. And then people would be like, oh my God, I love your presence on social media. And I'm like, I didn't mean to do a thing. But I don't know. I've just always sort of been very diplomatic. So it definitely came in handy this year. And it just so happened that Dear Evan Hansen is my favorite show. I adore it. And so they really like it. The press team really likes it when I talk about it. Because I talk about it as a fan. Because I love it so much. So
you're pretty passionate about it.
Yeah. So not that other Evans don't. Because I think everyone's sort of come from that place. But I just really... It really hit me hard when I saw it. So I was able to... I know how to connect with the people who are on the other side of the barricade because I was on the other side of the barricade.
That makes a lot of sense.
Wow.
So, like you said, you always loved Evan Hansen from the beginning of it. I can't think of anybody who's ever really had that I can think of that has had quite a comparable experience of go from this is the dream role where I'm singing it in my basement to the next day I'm doing it. That's me. That had to have been so crazy.
It's wild.
It's
wild.
It was. It was absolutely crazy to think about, but also, my God, the pressure that I felt from all that.
Yeah,
right. Comparing myself from the beginning because I was comparing the other guys, which I now oh my God, regret because all these people compare. There's no point in comparing because we're all so different. The rankings, the comparisons, there's just no reason. It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
What'd you think when you went into the audition?
I thought it went well.
What'd you think right before you, as you were walking in to do it?
Here's what happened.
Were you grounded?
No. I was freaking out. Actually, what happened... So my Jimmy's video, because I won the Jimmy Award, that's how I got there, the National High School Musical Theater Award. The majority of comments on that video are, this kid's going to be the next Evan Hansen. This kid would be great as Evan Hansen. And I'd seen all that. So while I was sitting out in the hallway, having a panic attack, I just pulled up that video and didn't watch it, obviously, because there were people, but I just scrolled through the comments and was like, okay, this is what I meant. This is where I meant to be right now. And I'm meant to be panicking right now. And I'm meant to go into this room and do what I'm going to do. And either it will go well or not. I actually auditioned for the triple cover, the male cover of Evan, Jared, and Connor. I theorized that was just not to scare me because I'm not a Connor. There was never any thought put into me as Connor. But me as Jared was plausible. So they did have me do some Jared stuff in the room. But that day was a blur. But I also remember it very well.
Did you feel like you were connected and you were did you feel like him? Because you had seen the show, you knew the show, you knew what it...
Yes and no. It was kind of because I'd obsessed over it all so much that when I was watching videos and I saw it, I was I was trying to replicate what Ben was doing. And then after the Jimmys, I sort of learned during that week to just trust myself and that I don't need to do more than I am. I don't need to be more than I am. And so I simplified it so much and just made it more me. And over the course of the year, oh my God, it simplified tons. It became so much more me and so much better. I started in such an interesting, weird, sort of overwrought place, and it came to a much simpler, I think, more real place for me. So that was really special to now look back on, like, the bootlegs that people... There are only bootlegs of my first week.
Right.
No!
Which I'm so upset about.
No!
Well, what's funny is that, so Danielle and I had never seen the show. To be completely honest, I had no interest in seeing the show.
Yeah.
It just didn't, I don't know, it didn't seem like it was the kind of show for me. Then you got casted in, and we said, okay, well, obviously we're going to go. And we got tickets, I think. Like,
we got tickets with the whole theater company.
The whole theater company, right.
That's right.
And we did end up going to see it, believe it or not, 1 year ago today.
Yep.
Yes.
That's right.
Wow.
It came up on my
Yes,
Facebook.
it
We all
was.
saw it a
1
year ago today.
Yeah.
Jesus,
That's so special.
Andrew, you really fell in a year, huh? Now you're here with us
I know.
doing this?
But
1 year later, he's on the Nothing Podcast. Next year, Crackdown.
Next year, he'll have the blue polo tied in a bag, walking on the subway tracks, the end of the stick.
No, but I saw the show and I left there, and this is, again, I never even had really heard any of the music. I said to myself, this is the way that show is supposed to be
that's very
portrayed.
nice.
I don't know how it was portrayed before, but the vulnerability of an actual person who's the real age of the character said something to me in that I said, again, having not seen it before, so it's not a slight at all. I was like, how could somebody older than acting, right?
Yeah.
That's what acting is. But it connected in a way. And, I've now listened to some of the music, and Ben Platt is incredible. Like, it's the things that he does with his voice is like I could only dream.
It doesn't
to
make
do.
any sense. Yeah.
Right. However, part of me wishes, and maybe it's a thing that you can't talk about, I don't know, that they had done some sort of recording with you. Just because you bring so
I'd like
different.
to.
You bring
Yeah.
something so different to it. You know?
It's a totally different thing. It's not a thing, They really do as much as they can because they know. I think they have a recognition of how much people appreciate Ben and how much a lot of people say that was the show and nothing will ever be that again, which is untrue, and only denies the viewer enjoyment if you're saying that was it and I never want to see it ever again, because it's not Ben Platt, which is silly. But they did do a deluxe album with Taylor where he did a couple songs, and then I also got to do the For Forever video. I got to, I did get to sing Waving at things. I had my moments that
There's recognition that it's there. It exists. You could find you doing it. Did you have trouble finding the reality of the character? I know you've talked a lot about, and listen, I don't want no Broadway.com answers. This is us. We're friends. We go way back, okay? I want the truth.
Sure.
No, but he's a complicated character.
Mm-hmm.
And you were not afraid to expand past, from what I hear, the performers who had played the role before you had done. You made choices. And, in order to really do that, I think you have to feel a character strongly to decide, I know what this person would do in my mind.
Yeah. I it sort of came from a place, I started really wanting to, method act. I really came into that being every night I'm going to go completely into Evan's head and it's going to be amazing. And then I would do that and I wouldn't have control, and whenever I wasn't feeling 100% like him, I'd be kicking myself in my head.
Andrew, wait, let me just ask you. Do you feel like that was that fear sort of talking maybe that was telling you had to, the only way you could really do a good job is if you put yourself through something ridiculous first?
Yes, absolutely. It was fear. Fear drove a lot of what I did. I was insecure up to the very last second. I'm still insecure about it in little ways, but it was, as time went on and I sort of let go of that, I knew Evan better than I had ever imagined that I would, and I thought of him as a real person that I knew and was my best friend in life. He was the first person I said goodnight to every night. I had a real connection with him, and I made choices because I was encouraged to, and I sort of had my idea is that they would either say, that's really interesting, let's follow that thread, or that's not really what we're going for, let's try sticking more to the book on this. But they encouraged me to Michael Greif is really amazing because he sees what's in an actor and then pushes them to go further in the direction that he sees them going in, rather than me following in Ben Platt's footsteps. So yeah, it was an amazing experience, and over time, I really just got to know him as a person. But it started from a place of, I understood him, and I didn't really understand why yet. And I think by the end, I sort of began having my own conversation about mental health with myself, and then I was like, okay, I understand now why I know this person so well.
Right.
I'll say, speaking of, I saw the show 3 times, twice with you, right, and then once before you, and I don't remember I don't remember the first time I saw it, I guess, enough, but then when you did it, I guess I was paying more attention, but when you have the panic attack on stage with the index cards and the tie, so I'm somebody, and this is something John and I have talked about on the show before, in our own ways, we both have anxiety, right? It's something I go to a therapist for or whatever, and it was only when I saw you do it, and I said, oh shit, he's having a panic attack. But, like, I've had, I don't know, in my life, 50 panic attacks. Like, I know it well. And look, it never brought me to the floor like it brings Evan to the floor, right? But I was like, oh, my God, I know that very well. And that whatever, that gasping and whatever you were doing down there. And I said, oh, man, he gets it. He meaning you, meaning Andrew, gets it. I don't know where you're getting it from. But I was like, oh, yeah, that's real. That's how that goes. That's right. And so that was pretty powerful for me.
You know, it was the tough decision that thank you, first of all, but the tough decision that I sort of made over time was turning away from the audience. And that's something that it's something that a lot of Evans haven't done, understandably, because they do want the audience to see the tears, you know, and that's understandable. But I sort of realized that if I'm having a panic attack and I'm on stage, I'm hiding.
Absolutely.
You know, and so once I turned my face away, it kind of made a totally different thing. My driver, Jose, did not like that choice, for the record.
Wow.
Really?
He was like, he gives notes. He gives notes. He came to the show once and he was like, Turnaway, do you do that every night? And I was like, yeah. He was like, really? And I was like, yeah.
But that is what you would do. That's what somebody would do.
And he was like, drive the
panic
car
attack on an empty stage.
Yeah.
He
was driving the car while this happened, and he was like, well, you know, I've seen other Evans, you know, really cry during that moment, and I feel like you have that in you. I was like, just not the choice I made.
Nice.
I cry, but I turn away. He was like, okay. And I was like, that's what someone with anxiety does. And he's like, really? You did research into people with anxiety and that's the truth? And I was like, I mean, yes, I know people with anxiety. And he was like, you know people with anxiety? My friend who like has a serious anxiety disorder is sitting with me in the car. And I'm like, yes, like I know people who have anxiety. He caved. Except... and then he was like, I understand. That's actually really interesting. A week later, he was like, so did you think about what I said?
Andrew, let me ask you this, because we're all performers, so we know this. When somebody gives you a note, look, you could be in the moment as much as you're going to be in the moment, but at the end of the day, you always know you're in a play. Tell me that driver's face did not pop up in your head the next time you did that moment.
Yeah, of course.
And you fell on the floor, you were like,
many
Jose!
times. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
of course.
If I tell Danielle, maybe try to deliver the line, try to hit the word this way, she completely forgets the way she was hitting it before and can't remember if she wants to do it the way I said, and then completely blanks and loses it entirely.
Do you remember in Waiting for Guffman when she's like, Ron teaches me to ignore all my instincts? You know?
Yeah.
Catherine O'Hara.
It happened a lot during Rumors, and we would talk about it, and we would go over the scenes and stuff, and you'd have an idea of how you want to do it, as an actress would. But then I would say, like, or this, and the option wouldn't sit right with you.
Yes. I struggle with your direction.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah, she doesn't like me as a director.
And now they're married.
She doesn't like me as a director.
Now they're married.
Michael Greif is extraordinary. He's very meticulous. So the amount of notes that we got were, me specifically, because the Evans get the most notes sort of notoriously, it would be sometimes 4 pages of notes, like typed out notes.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't typed out, it would be on little slips of paper, and I have like stacks of just like little tiny slips of paper. But he got us where we needed to go. You know, he saw what it needed to be, And then when he'd mess up, he'd give us a totally different thing the next night. And so it was kind of a different show every night, not because of the organicness necessarily, but because he was giving different notes every night, which was really interesting. But he is, oh my God, he is so involved in this production. In its third year, he is still so ridiculously involved in every single aspect.
That's crazy. You don't even think about it. That they're still involved.
Okay, so look, let's stay on the Dear Evan Hansen subject, okay? So
Sure.
I've seen Dear Evan Hansen 3 times. Please clear up these plot points for me, okay?
Oh, boy.
Warning, there might be spoilers. 1, did Evan
Spoiler
throw
alert.
himself out of the tree, or did he accidentally fall?
He let go.
Got it.
He let go from the tree.
When Evan's called to the principal's office to go meet the Murphys, where did the principal go? I want to know.
The principal this is always what's in my mind. The principal stepped out because he's like personal friends with the Murphys, and the Murphys were like, we want to talk to him privately. So the principal's like, of course I will step out.
Okay,
Like, the
I'm going to
Murphys have
say
power at the
this
school.
as someone who works in the New York City Department of Education. You are ethically never allowed to put another person's child with another kid's parents. Never. That would never
That makes
happen.
sense.
Okay, next question.
Well, it's Maryland, so different story.
Yeah, that's true. Things are different.
Are the Hansons and the Murphys okay with owning the same couch?
Yeah, they've talked about
Bob's.
it. They've talked about it. Yeah, in that scene with Heidi, you don't see before when they're coming on. She's like, "Oh my God, I have this couch," and then the Murphys are like, "We're gonna buy a new couch." Actually,
That's there you go.
Okay, here's my last one for this. The cast on Evan's arm is symbolic of his brokenness. The orchard at the end is symbolic of hope and rebirth. What's the symbolism of the $12 service fee on my ticket? Just what's the service? The service is I'm getting the ticket.
Capitalism.
And I'm picking
Capitalism.
it. What capitalism is a service? Okay, I'm
Consumerism.
good. You cleared it all up.
Yeah.
I love the show even more now. Thank you, Andrew.
So now we're going into post Evan Hansen world, right?
okay.
So now, Evan, you've been. I was like, I don't want to use the word replaced, and then the next word that came into my head was usurped, which is worse.
If he was a king.
Replaced is the official word. Replaced.
Yeah, you've been replaced by Jordan Fisher.
Yes.
Danielle loves Jordan Fisher because they share a last name.
But I also
yes.
love him.
Little known fact,
Yeah,
if
me
Jordan
too.
Fisher, we are in quarantine. If Jordan Fisher walked into this house and sang those magic changes to Danielle, I would be short a wife.
Hands down.
I would lose
Well,
a wife.
Jordan and I have actually talked about this because we talked about this at BroadwayCon because I played duty. I think it was right before Grease Live happened, and I played duty like Gil Faizon in Oh Hello.
Oh, yes. I love it so much that you just said that.
I really, really like went all in on. Oh, there's a picture of Jordan Fisher that Frank is showing on
obsessed.
screen. Yeah, I was like, I found a line delivery where the line is, "Gee, she sounds really cool, Danny," and I said, "Gee, she sounds really cool, Danny." Like that was for real how I played that role, and I played him like a weird dork. And then I watched Jordan do it, and I was like, "You can do it hot." I didn't know you were allowed to do it hot.
You chose old Jewish man portrayal.
I did.
It's okay.
Listen.
I liked my choice, but yes, Jordan and I have talked about that.
I think you'll always choose old Jewish man.
Why wouldn't you? You know
That voice reminds me. Do you remember, and I hope you do because I don't, the name you gave your character in the last cafe we did together?
I mean, there were a couple. My character in
Uptown
Funk was I think it was Muffin Boy.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
And he had accent like, "Hello, it is Uptown Funk, and we are here." It was like Constantine, the
Yes.
evil Kermit in Muppets Most
Evil
Wanted.
Kermit, yeah, Constantine, with your shiny jacket and your glasses.
Yeah, he'd be like, "All right," like I have a vlog that I did on stage during that number where I was like, "We are here, it is Uptown Funk, hot damn," and like I sang in between.
That's funny.
That's funny. Those are good times. None of you know that. None of you know that. Good luck. Find it on.
It's on my
IMDb.
Instagram. It's on my Instagram.
It's on your Instagram.
That
Everything's on his Instagram.
that vlog from when I was. Hang on, maybe I can play it into the microphone. It's that vlog from when I was Muffin Boy.
That's right. When we were all decided to come up with our own characters for Uptown
Yeah.
Funk, and I decided mine was going to be like a mafia hitman. I just went around telling people I was going to funk them up.
Yeah, that was good.
Classic.
Classic.
So
Wait,
classic.
where does this live? Hang on, I definitely have it.
We're going to find it.
Maybe I don't have it.
If you don't
Maybe
have
it's
it,
gone to history.
it's okay. It's gone forever. It lives on. It lives on.
On this
Through us.
podcast.
In our hearts and our minds. Yeah, I guess it's gone to history. Wow, that's sad.
We'll get it. So my question for you is this.
Oh wait. Sorry,
we got
sorry.
it.
I found it.
Damn.
We are here friend James gets skateboards.
I'm breaking this up.
There it is.
With those little thin sunglasses.
Yeah, because we all chose our own costumes.
Right.
It was the
That's right.
best.
Is that how Broadway works, Andrew? You just choose your own costume?
Yes, that's right. That's right. Especially in a show that's been running for 3 years, you get to choose your own costumes.
So now that you're moving past Evan Hansen, this is going to be a controversial question. Answer it however you will. I know you have a lot of friends now who are in shows, have been in shows, you know.
Sure.
But a lot of people work their whole lives to get on Broadway and never do. Okay? Or it takes them forever. You did it at 17. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't look like, although you're going to college or whatever, you'll be back there at some point, in my estimation.
Thank you.
Did you find there was any pushback from the Broadway community? Is very loving, but them can be bitches too. Did you find that at all?
Yeah, yes and no. I think there was a wariness of. I've heard stories now of like some of my closest friends that were into Evan Hansen before were like, this is really a bad idea. Like, this is a bad idea. We don't know this kid. Like, it was before they knew me, but like, this is a bad idea. This kid's gonna like ruin himself. And the internet sort of felt the same way, that they were like, this kid's gonna destroy his voice. He's gonna be like depressed, and we're very worried about him. I was fine. I'm the only Evan, as far as I'm concerned, to not call out in the middle of the show.
Wow.
I only called out because of vocal fatigue 2 times my whole run, which was unexpected. I'm very proud of that, because that was something that I think everyone was so concerned about from the very beginning. But it came from everyone was just really in tune with my like body and my voice, and so there were keys that were lowered at the beginning and placements that were sort of changed and harmonies that were sort of changed, that everything was back to where it was originally by the end of my run. So it was such a growth thing. But all that being said, yes, there was some worry, but no pushback to me, and I think I was just always. I just held my gratefulness on my sleeve at every step of the way, and my incredulity at it all.
Sure.
That I think everyone sort of respected that.
Because you didn't walk in like a little diva.
Yeah, I was not a jerk. I think Alex Boniello said to me, and he's like, "This is the only compliment I'm ever going to give you, so take it." He was like, "He's a real jerk," is the point.
He's funny he's funny. He roasts
great.
you. He really roasts you.
He really does.
Yeah.
He said if they had said, we have to get a 16-year-old to play this role, I think you were the best we could get. Not because you're great in the role, because you are not a little terrorist, is what he said. And so
It's a great compliment.
It's a good compliment.
It is a great compliment. And it's true. And I think there were people who were also very welcoming me. Like I was just telling the story last night. Ashley Park, who originated Gretchen in Mean Girls, and she's incredible. She was a Tony nominee. I met her just like at a thing, like at a 54 Below one night, and she came up to me, and this was right after I'd been announced. I hadn't even started yet, and she was like, "I just want you to know how excited we all are to have you, and we're like ready here in the community. Everyone, like, we're here with open arms." It meant so much to me, and so it was those kinds of things. And then once I started doing my thing, and once I got good at it, I think it sort of garnered a lot of respect from the community, which I'm very, very thankful for.
Right. Well, it's funny because, you know, Frank and I, we think we're so cool. We're like, oh yeah, we the ones who ask the questions. We're performers too. Just because we don't do it on Broadway doesn't mean whatever. We're like, we don't care about these people. And then the show's over, and sometimes you'll catch us out there with our Sharpies, just like, waiting, like, you know. Like Alex Brightman, we met him after School of Rock, and like I remember where he signed my thing. I was like, we joked about it. We had a joke. I'll remember the joke till I die. Why? I don't know. We're like almost the same age, and we performed the same way. But for some reason, I'm like, yeah,
you are built the same way.
Well, no. Sometimes I get disappointed that I can't stage door now. Like that, I'm like, I guess I can't stand out there, but usually I can finagle my way backstage.
Yeah, you don't have to stage door anymore, Andrew. You go in.
There's some shows where I go and I'm like, I didn't know anyone in that, and I really wish I did, because like I like respect these people so much. Now, especially with this Broadway Jackbox thing, I'm making more connections than I've ever had.
Can you tell us about Broadway Jackbox?
So Broadway Jackbox is this idea that I had like at noon, and then we did it at 6 that night. Like it was just a thing that I sort of threw together. It's me and Alex Boniello are producing, and we get all these Broadway people together to play Jackbox games, which are these dumb games, these dumb internet games. And like there's audience participation and stuff, and we raise money for the Actors Fund, and we've already raised like pretty well upwards of $5,000. It's definitely way more than that. It might be over $10,000 now, actually. Which is crazy, and I'm so thankful and excited about it. But it's been so much fun. We just had today, like Gaten Matarazzo and Michael Park, who is an old friend because he did Dear Evan Hansen, and Will Rowland, who's been in it a lot, and Renee Rapp and Antonio Cipriano. So it's just been fun to like get like a mix of friends, and then like people Alex Boniello sort of knows and is like, I think I could get this person, and I'm going to try really hard.
Oh, that sounds just like our show. That's what me and John say.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. That's exactly right.
Yeah, I mean, we don't draw a lot of names, but, you know, I used to work on Broadway. My office was there, and you know, we're names, so.
We have a name.
We've spent all of this season just talking to people going, yeah, well, you know, if you want to just throw the Nothing podcast out there, I mean, you can't. And it's funny because we when we were talking about having you on, Danielle had sort of brought up the point that, like, our show is about everyday people, regular people. You know, we interview I always use the garbage man as an example. Yet
we've never had
we can't get a garbage man. I don't know why. But like, we interviewed like the guy from the deli, and we interview like, you know, because everybody's got a story to tell. And our last couple of guests have all been like sort of high end names, as it were.
Sure.
But you sort of fall both categories. You're a name for certain, but you're also
a regular
like
person?
as regular a person as can get. I mean, we've known you like when you were running around the theater like a little mouse, a very talented little mouse running around backstage. Like, I can't get this guy out from under my feet. Like,
yeah, I really was always there, wasn't I?
Yeah.
I found a way to always be doing something at RTC. Like, I was like, Frankie, can I do tech for Toxic Avenger? And you were like, you could sit here with this script just in case.
Wait,
and that's
did
what
you?
I did. Yeah, I just sat like, you know, the little booth that's like in the dressing room backstage.
Yeah.
Like, I just sat there with a script
For the whole show?
Yeah, like 2 or 3 times.
Really? I don't even remember that.
Yeah, Little Shop.
You did it for Little Shop too. Same thing.
Well, because I filled in for Steven one day because he left after he did his plant stuff, and then I did all his stuff, which was the same thing that happened in Cuckoo's Nest. I was the universal swing for crew.
Yeah, I have a picture of you with a holding a toilet brush.
All right, that's right. I had to set the toilet brush, and I did it. I'm very proud of myself.
But see,
that's where you got your.
This is why he was on Broadway, is on Broadway, whatever, because you love it so much. That's all you put yourself into. I mean,
yeah.
You
could be sweeping the floor. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was indeed sweeping the floor in Guys and Dolls.
Yeah, you were. That's right.
You were shining my shoes.
I was for that role, I really, really dropped into the character, and I learned how to shine shoes for that shoe shine boy in Guys and Dolls. That is not written in the script, but they gave me real
dull leather brown shoes, if I remember correctly. I don't know what you were shining.
But they gave me real shoe shine stuff, so then I started like actually shining your shoes, like you and all the other guys that were in the cast. Which, by the way, Rockaway Theater Company should do no other shows but Guys and Dolls ever, forever. Like, that is perfect.
Yeah. Listen, so that I'm gonna have you on record saying you shined my shoes. Don't forget it.
It's true. I did shine your shoes.
Don't forget it.
That's how I earned my first nickel.
Right. So now you're going to Harvard.
Yes.
That's amazing.
I'm very excited about it.
Are you excited to wear that H?
Yeah, I've been wearing it. Alex Boniello has been giving me shit from the very beginning because I wore my hoodie, and he's like, Jesus Christ, already we're doing this. Yeah, I'm very, very, very excited and very much looking forward to it.
Are you going to try to continue to perform while you do that?
Yes and no. I'm still like auditioning for stuff, but also passing on a lot of stuff because there's certain things that I'm like, I'd be willing to miss a semester of school for this, and then certain stuff where I'm like, I don't want to miss school for this. This is not the thing. This is, just not something that is right for me. Not something that I'm interested in. It's not the thing. So it's been looking for the thing. And there have been a couple things that have come up where I'm like, this could be the thing, and then I don't get it. I'm like, okay, that means it wasn't the thing. So that's been kind of interesting and cool.
That makes sense. I mean, so what you're saying is you've turned things down.
Yes.
And you're here. So what does that say about us? This show's basically about us.
We're the thing, John. We're the thing.
You have to miss a whole semester for this.
It's a 4-year podcast. Sorry for the commitment.
But you are still you'll go out there and audition for stuff every once in a while.
Yeah, yes, and maybe not performing at school, but I do want to direct and write and put up productions of my own at school. I'm like, this is what I'm going to do at college, and then I'm like, wait a second, I'm not at college yet. I should probably
right.
be thinking about that.
What's something that you would love to do as like a bucket list thing that you could potentially do now? Like mine would be like be on Sesame Street or something like that.
Oh, that's good. I want to revive Seussical on Broadway.
Oh, nice.
That's mine.
But not with
I
your
love that
costume
show.
when you did it last time and it had the trunk on your head.
Oh, that one was good. Giant penis protruding.
There it is.
From
You
my
said
forehead.
it. I didn't say it.
I saw a video of that yesterday.
Did you?
That's
Yeah.
out there. Seussical's a great show. Underrated
It is.
show.
And I have a lot of ideas. Well, we did a production with my company.
That's right. It was
where we,
great.
made it. That's very nice. We made it like dark and weird, and there are certain moments where I'm like, okay, that was just us trying to be edgy, and then certain moments where the simplification brought out real moments of real connection. So I just sort of have been following that thread and have lots of ideas to.
That was a really great concept, and I don't want to like go too much into it because I don't want anybody to steal your concept. But it was
The concept
really worked.
you can go into it because the concept I'm doing now is sort of completely different. So we can talk about it.
It was sort of like, well, actually, I want to talk about it in a few minutes. I want to
Okay.
get into it in a few minutes. When we talk about your company, I want to talk about your company in a second.
Cool.
But yeah, that's cool. Seussical. I love that.
Here's my thing: is I just like stuff. Like I just prefer to like things, and then I do. You know, and I go see something, and I'll either be like, "Wow, that was great," or I'll really love hating it. But like, that's rare. Like normally, I'll just leave something, and I'll be like, "I had a great time at that, and I liked it," and that's the end of my relationship with that. Or I'll be like, "This is my new favorite thing ever, and I'm going to take it, and now it's mine." So I just like everything. I just kind of like stuff.
That's great. I
yeah,
like
there's
that.
nothing wrong
I
with
What's
that.
prefer
your
it.
besides Seussical? What's your favorite theater experience of seeing something?
When I saw Michael Arden in Hunchback of Notre Dame at Paper Mill Playhouse,
I didn't get to see that.
unbelievable. One of the best performances I've ever seen.
Wow.
I held out because I was like, it's obviously going to come to
No,
Broadway.
they didn't want to. Well, first of all, they didn't want to show that dark in their repertoire because it really was dark, and also like they can't drop equity contracts for that 200-person choir that they had on stage. So,
Right. I want to get into my next game with you.
Sure.
One of the last times we spoke, you gave me a lot of information on Disney
Yes.
because we were going to Disney Paris, and you were giving me the tips. And I have to say, you were 100% spot on with your assessment of Disney Paris.
Yeah, it was.
What did I say?
Clutch.
What specifically? What did I say?
You were like, there's little things just hidden everywhere that like they don't even. There's no way to even know, and you turn around and there it is, and it's like kind of random, and that's 100% what we found.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Like out in the lagoon, randomly it was nobody there, and in the middle of the lagoon is like a boat and like a little statue of Pooh Bear like on the dock, and you're like, oh, what is that doing
What?
there?
So they're hiding things around in Disneyland Paris?
They're not hiding.
It was
It's
so cute.
So the thing with Disneyland Paris is like they were like, okay, so Eisner wanted to make the park his own. So like Disney World is the most is the biggest park or whatever. Disneyland is the most the most magical park or whatever. He wanted to make Disneyland Paris the most beautiful park, and so he made this gorgeous like artful park, which was not done before that.
The castle is gorgeous.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
and the dragon.
It
I don't know
is.
if you saw the dragon.
Yeah, the dragon.
Yeah.
The dragon was great. But like we were like walking at one point and there was no one around. It was like a little trail through some like brush that we were supposed to go from one place to the other. And then like randomly behind me there was I think it was like Ka and Zazu.
yeah.
Like together on a
It's
stick.
so cute.
And I was like, what the hell is that doing there? Like who the hell would see that? But it was really cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, everything in Disney Paris was actually really cool.
I love Disney Paris. Yeah.
But so this next segment, I call it Geeking Out with Andrew.
Ooh.
Where you and I, Frank will disassociate himself from the conversation.
out.
Danielle will chime in as much as she always does. I just want to talk about a couple of things.
Yeah.
And I want to get as deep dive into them, just in like moments. I don't want this to take forever, but
Great.
We'll just deep dive real quick. Okay, so we already did Broadway. I'm going to eliminate Broadway because we kind of did that already. Actually, no, you guys can do Broadway. So the topics are Broadway, Disney, Star Wars, and Muppets. We will do all four.
Okay.
We will do all
Wow.
four.
That's a lot.
Frank, you're going to cover the Broadway one.
I am?
That's the
Oh,
big
thank
four.
you. I have
Yeah.
something.
So, where would you like to start?
You're asking me or Andrew?
Andrew.
Oh my God! On
We're
Broadway?
just geeking out about Broadway?
No,
things?
it's Broadway, Star Wars, Muppets, or Disney. Start anywhere, and any one of them.
We just talked a lot about Broadway. Let's talk about the Muppets.
Okay.
Because I have been spending this quarantine just taking in as much Muppets stuff as I could get.
Yeah.
We have old Muppet Show DVDs, so we've been watching those.
Yeah, I'm going to start them next week.
I've been watching the ABC show.
Love it. Love the 2016
Loved
show.
it, yes.
I love it. It's on
Should
Disney
get
Plus.
mugs.
We have the mugs. We have Up Late with Miss Piggy, or Late Night with Miss Piggy mugs. We have them from the show.
You know, I met Amy Adams came to see the show, and after the show, I said, "You're in two of my favorite movies of all time, her and The Muppets." And it's true. The Muppets. I rewatched recently, and I feel confident saying that The Muppets is maybe my favorite movie of all time, like 2011.
Really?
The Muppets.
But it fell at the right time for you.
You're right.
We recently watched them all last year, all at once, and it wasn't among my favorite. However, Muppets Most Wanted, surprisingly out in front.
It's a lot
Great
more
movie.
in the vein of like
Yes.
Caper and yeah.
Great movie. Who's your favorite Muppet, would you say? People ask me that question all the time. I hate it.
I mean, I love Statler and Waldorf. I love
Okay.
Statler and Waldorf. My brother and I are doing a half marathon in Disney in November, and we're planning on like dressing as Statler and Waldorf.
Yes, that's amazing.
But also Pepe. I also love Pepe.
Pepe, again, great character. Right in your wheelhouse for your time.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? Definitely.
I'd like to jump in
listen-
and say I have no idea what anybody's talking about. Keep going. It's great. No clue what you're saying.
Frank, you don't like Pepe? You don't like
You know,
Pepe?
like Pepe the King Prawn?
Come on,
No
Frank.
idea what you're talking about.
He loves the ladies, Frank.
Oh, and he's a
Muppets
prawn?
from Space.
Yeah.
Muppets from
Like a
Space.
shrimp?
Divisive.
Yeah, he's a little
That's
prawn.
cute. I'm going to look him
He's
up.
That's-
great.
You
Yeah.
guys keep talking. I'm going to look up Pepper.
Oh no, he's fantastic.
He is. He's great. We went recently to Disney World, and I hadn't been there in 20 years, okay? We went. We were so excited. Muppet Vision was closed,
And you'd never done it?
okay? I did it when I was a kid.
It's one of my favorite rides. It's one of my favorite attractions.
I did not.
It's
I
the
didn't get to
only
go.
movie I can recite by heart. Is Muppet Vision
Really?
3D.
That's amazing.
I know it all. We're actually trying to print T-shirts of the whole transcript of Muppet Vision.
No, you're not.
That's amazing.
Can you say a
I
little
haven't-
for us, Andrew?
What?
Can you say a little?
Okay. Well, the big line is Sam, how's it coming along? It's a salute to all nations, but mostly America. That's the big line. And then there's also Sam, everything ready? He says, yes, it's a glorious 3-hour finale. And Kermit goes, you got a minute and a half. That's the other big one. Two big Sam lines.
One of my dreams is to actually get to interact with the Sweetums that comes out at the end.
Ugh. Come on.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But I will say, I was brought to tears. Danielle can verify this. I was expecting the Muppet area in Disney to be nothing. I was like, oh, it's just Muppet Vision and that's it. And then I was like, okay, the courtyard is fine. We ate at Pizza Rizzo to say we did. I mean, as a deep cut, I love the Gonzo's Royal Flush. I think it's fantastic.
Deep cut. Brilliant.
Yeah. And then I went into the store, and I had heard the store was like, and then I look up, and there's the set pieces from the end of the Muppet movie.
Yep.
And there's the Happiness Hotel desk, and the bus from Merry Melodies, from Manhattan Melodies, rather, and the lockers from Muppet Stick Manhattan. And I was like, this is the best place. It brings me joy to know that somebody goes to work every day and their job is to sit there and listen to a repeat of Muppet music on cyclical. I could have spent the whole day
That's
in
the
the
store.
park
There are two stores that we always go into. It's that store and the Haunted Mansion store, because the Haunted Mansion is my favorite ride.
So let's get into
Now we're
Disney.
getting into Disney. So
Haunted Mansion's your favorite. I know that. I did it for the first time last year.
Can I jump into the Disney now? Because I know about Disney World.
Yeah.
I have nothing to say, but I want to know that I'm allowed to say.
yeah,
Okay.
sure, yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Haunted Mansion out of context is fine. It's a fine old ride. There is a book. It is my favorite book. It's a coffee table book, but it's my favorite book. It's called The Haunted Mansion, Imagineering a Disney Classic, and it is the story behind the Haunted Mansion. And the majority of effects in the Haunted Mansion were completely stumbled upon. the variations that it went through was originally going to be a walkthrough about like an old pirate guy who died, and then you met the pirate at the end, and then there was like a werewolf version and a vampire version, and then Walt died, and nobody knew what to do with it. So that's why the Haunted Mansion is split into two parts, because you have Rolly Crump, who was one of the Imagineers on it, who wanted it to be like, and then Mark Davis were the two Imagineers on it. One of them wanted it to be like very silly, and the other one wanted it to be like scary. So you have half of it super duper silly and wacky, and the other half is scary as hell.
Right.
Wow.
So there's a lot of history that I could go very, very deep into.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of history behind it, and that's. I'll tell you, one of your suggestions you gave us for Paris was that we had to do the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland Paris. I was terrified of the Haunted Mansion. I didn't want to do it, but because you said we needed to see it, and it was different. I was like, all right, let's do it. But then I realized while I was on it, I had never been on another Haunted Mansion before.
So you had nothing to compare it to.
Nope. And yes, Danielle, what was my state during the Haunted Mansion? You could say it.
You had your eyes closed the entire time.
No.
Like, yeah.
Oh my God.
I swear to God.
It's really not that scary.
No, they're like dancing and singing at the end, and I was like, "Wow, I'm an idiot. I'm in here with my eyes closed."
How is
they're
it
out here
different
dancing.
from Disney World, the Paris one?
Okay, so the Paris one is in Frontierland, because the Haunted Mansion in California, which is where it originated, is in New Orleans Square because it's a New Orleans style mansion. In Florida, it's in Liberty Square. They made it like this, pretty much the same, but the facade is New York Hudson. They were like, the only place we can put this is Frontierland here, because we don't have either of those like areas. So they put it in Frontierland, and they had this whole sort of storyline that they were going to follow throughout Frontierland, and they did, but you have to really search for it. So at the end of the Haunted Mansion there, which is called the Phantom Manor, you go into like a graveyard, like a cowboy graveyard, and it's like there's like one character, and he's the Phantom, and his daughter is like the bride, and he's like still getting his revenge over her like betrothed, and it's a whole thing. And you go in this like cowboy town, but they're ghosts, and it rocks. Wow. It's so good.
That's awesome.
It was cool. It was very cool.
The best Haunted Mansion equivalent is Mystic Manor, which I don't want to. I think it's in Hong Kong.
Yes, it is,
because they were like, here's the thing, is that people in this culture have a completely different relationship with ghosts than we do. Because if you, like, ghosts, they see them as, like, ancestors. You know, like, they love those ghosts. And so waking them, disturbing them is really not, like, a cool thing. So Mystic Manor, instead of being about ghosts, is about magic. And it gets to the core of what it originally was, which was an illusion show. The Haunted Mansion was originally just an illusion show. It wasn't so much about the scares as much as it was about, like, how are they doing that. Mystic Manor is a 21st century version of that. And I haven't been on it. I've watched videos. I recommend going out and looking it up, because it is mind-boggling to see what they did with this ride.
Did they ask you to be in the Imagineering series on Disney Plus?
I wish.
Did they ask to interview you?
No.
It could have been you and that guy with the really long earlobe and the earrings.
You talking about Joe Rohde, the best Imagineer? Yeah. I don't want to say that. I want to piss off some Imagineer.
They were having a real conversation with him, and I was like, nah, how could you have a conversation? How could you? He's a genius. How could you talk to him? That earring.
I will say my favorite ride, I've only been to Disney World. I love the Haunted Mansion, but it's not my favorite. My favorite is Pirates of the Caribbean. Only because of the smell. That's it.
Yeah,
it's chlorinated when you walk in, and it's cool, and it's you're in it's like cavernous.
Pirate smell rocks.
It's the smell. It's the smell.
Best theme park smell ever. E.T. at Universal Studios. The forest in the queue. Yes. That smell is like no other. Oh my God. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just it's perfect.
Is that's still going?
I hate rides. I hate rides. When I was a kid, I went to Universal, and my parents forced me to go on Jaws because they wouldn't. Yes. Because they couldn't leave me behind because my brother and sister wanted to go, and they were like literally telling a 10-year-old me, "What are you gonna do? You have to come on Jaws. Where are you gonna go?" So I went on Jaws, and I had my eyes closed the whole time.
That's a scary ride.
And my mom said to me,
scary, yeah.
My mom was, and she was not trying to play a trick. She said, "You can open your eyes. It's over." There I am at 10 years old.
Oh wow, that's a great photo.
She said, "You can open your eyes. It's over." I opened my eyes, and the last version of the shark, the bloody shark,
The electrified one.
literally launched at me. I was sitting on the edge, in my face. That was that year, actually. That picture you showed, Frank?
Yeah.
It was that year. Picture that kid literally terrified and furious at his parents at the same time.
Oh my god.
He was like, it's over. I was like, okay, thanks. It's over.
Yeah, it's
that
over.
ride is scary. Yeah.
Danielle said to me, last time we were in Disney, Danielle said to me, let's go on Dinosaur. It's a very cool, easy ride. No.
No,
I
that
don't
ride
do
is
roller
scary as
coasters.
hell.
I
No.
did not remember.
That
I
ride's
left
scary.
that ride
You know what's
going,
scary?
no.
The Harry Potter ride.
Oh my god, that
Journey.
is scary.
Oh,
That ride, I still
get John
have
to go
trouble
on it.
keeping my eyes open on that ride.
That is scary.
No. Get out of here. I don't want any of that. Did you go to Galaxy's Edge?
Yes.
Love it. Love it so
It's-
much.
I don't have the words for it.
Yeah, it's people who come back and like, here, it's not that good. You hear wrong is what you hear.
You hear wrong. Like it.
I don't understand it. It's like literally, I walked in. We spent the whole day there going,
Yeah.
I don't understand any of this.
It
How
was
is
crazy.
Yeah. Well, because here's how I explain this to people is you have to look very, very hard to find the words Star Wars anywhere.
Right?
If you say Star Wars to a person working there, they say, I don't know what that is, and I don't want you to tell me. I heard that happen.
Right.
Like, it's not Star Wars land. It's this place. It's not from any of the
That too,
movies,
right.
but you're looking at it, like, I was standing there and I was like, oh my god, this just looks like Star Wars. Like, this is not a place from Star Wars, but it looks like Star Wars, and it feels like Star Wars, and it just looks right. And the crazy thing,
Yeah.
we were there President's Day weekend, so it was crazy busy. It's the only thing ever where more people added to it. Everyone felt like part of it.
yeah.
It was absurd.
It was wild.
I get verklempt talking about it. But
Did you build a lightsaber?
we had a reservation to build a lightsaber, but then it conflicted with our time for Rise of the Resistance, so we didn't get to do it. So we're saving it. But we did build a droid, and we have very serious emotional attachments to our droid.
I built a lightsaber.
How
And,
was it? How was that experience?
The experience, you would be a puddle on the floor by the end of the experience.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
It was like magical.
I'm so
And then you
excited.
get home and you're like, well, this was $200 and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But
It's on our window.
it sits on our windowsill with my yellow blade in it.
I gotta get. I got it. We tried to do it and it didn't really work out.
Yeah, I mean, the experience.
Yeah, the
is
droid
like
depot is
next
great. The cantina is amazing.
level. The cantina was really cool. They gave me terrible drink after terrible drink, and I paid a lot of money for them. And I was like, "What's
Yeah,
in
well,
this?"
'cause it's
And
all
he's like, "It's a Tauntaun Fizz." I'm like, "What does that mean? What is in it?"
He was like, "Why does this make my mouth numb?"
Oh
my
yeah,
mouth
there's
is
the one
numb.
that makes your mouth numb.
On purpose.
And he was like,
Yeah, on
mad.
purpose.
Yes.
anything. He just laughed and walked away, like, like, dude, my mouth is numb. What do you think? I paid $15 for this.
It was awesome. I had like 6
I
drinks.
love the cantina.
Yeah. So Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean,
Quick.
Have fun, boys.
What's your favorite one?
5. Empire Strikes Back.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's yours?
basic,
6.
Basic. You're a basic.
Return of the
bitch.
Jedi. Is that your favorite?
No. I don't know what my favorite is, but I know it's not 5.
I just think 5
think
is
it's one.
like the best one. You know?
It might be 4.
Yeah, that one's good. No, here's the thing that I sort of started talking about recently is you watch those movies and you don't say, wow, this is a great movie. Like, you're like, yeah, this is Star Wars. Like, that's what it is. Like, it's not a movie. It's just,
Yeah.
the only movies in that series are Empire Strikes Back and The Last Jedi. Every other movie is Star Wars. It's not a movie. And I
Right.
love it. That's what's so great about it.
I don't think I can't remember a time where I've stayed awake through all of 5. I just think
Sure.
it's that boring. That's me. That's just me. I just think it's boring.
I love it. I think I might enjoy
Yeah, everybody loves
I might enjoy Return of the Jedi the most.
That might be my favorite one. We rewatched Rise of Skywalker the other night. It's a fun- it's a
I'm not going to
it's a
comment
fun
on Rise
mess.
of Skywalker.
It's a fun mess, in my opinion.
It's Star Wars. It's Star Wars.
Yep. It's a satisfying, fun
I thoroughly enjoyed
mess.
myself. Yes.
It's a mess. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good movie. I mean, but it is exactly that. I'm like, oh, it was a good time.
It's Star Wars.
I'm not going to get into
It's-
it. I don't want to get into it. We can leave it off here.
With-
Last Jedi, I left the movie theater going, I did not have a good time. And I've seen it now multiple times and have still not had a good time.
I agree with most of the things you just said, because I left Last Jedi and I was like, because I left The Force Awakens and I was like, oh yeah,
Yes, yeah.
And I left Last Jedi and I was like, I need to think about that more, because it's like a movie, like it's a think piece. That movie, like it requires multiple viewings. Like you don't have a good time watching, but man, if you don't think about it,
right.
Rise of Skywalker, I had a great time. I thought it was super fun. I loved almost all of it.
I want a yes or no answer from you.
I don't give
any
them
explanation. Prequels, yes or no?
Sure.
That's
okay.
Yes, maybe.
I'll take that. For me, it's a hard yes. Just FYI.
I think they're so fun. I love Jar Jar Binks. That's what I'll say. I love Jar Jar Binks.
Does he bring anything to the movie? That's a question I can't answer.
He would have. He would have.
He would have. I agree. I love George Lucas, but he backed off. People got mad and he backed off.
He should have followed that thread. Could you imagine how freaked out people would be if Jar Jar was a freaking Sith Lord? Could you imagine? Yeah. People would flip
or if he would have had, or if he would have done anything.
I know, but just like if he was a Sith Lord, people would be like, okay, it's cool. Like you can keep Jar Jar.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if anybody's still listening, this is the Nothing Podcast with nobody important.
Well, we got to let Andrew be Andrew.
I guess.
This is what he's known for.
This is what I'm known for.
Yes.
All right, and the last one, Frank, is Broadway.
I don't care. We talked about Broadway.
I want to talk briefly about Andrew's company.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Do you really want to talk about Broadway? We don't have to. We've talked about it enough, I think.
Here's what I'll say really fast. Go see shows that are not on Broadway as well. Like, see community theater, see regional productions, see off-Broadway shows. Like, there's some really interesting stuff happening there. Broadway rocks and is the best, and you should go see Broadway, but also see other stuff.
Andrew, I want to talk about your company, and I want to talk about Star Wars the musical. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, of course.
Start at the beginning.
Sure. So I was 12 years old, and I needed to do a bar mitzvah project. And I was like, I have to raise money for autism because I have a brother on the spectrum. And that just was the obvious choice. And I have to do theater because that's all I know how to do. So I started this company that raises money for an organization, amazing organization, called Next for Autism. Oh, my God.
We felt you couldn't talk about your baby project.
Oh, this is excellent.
Without your baby.
Without your
hey, Steve.
Your creative partner, as it were.
Hi, Steve.
Stephen Wagner. Stephen Wagner, my best friend. What's up? Oh, that's great.
Well, we figured we needed to bring the two of you together.
That's awesome. Hey, dude, what's up?
Long time no see.
Yeah, I saw you yesterday.
Social distancing.
So we're talking about the company.
Yeah,
we're talking about the company.
We're talking about the company, Steve. Buzz Neefrock.
Oh, nice.
You know that one.
What are you talking about in regard?
I just started talking about how it started, and actually started. Steve and I were going to do it together, and then one day I was like, "Do you actually want to do this?" And he was like, "No," and I was like, "All right." So I just did it myself.
Because that was like always the thing. Was Andrew's always having all these crazy ideas, and like now we know he can make them all happen. When we were little, I was like, that sounds like so much work. I'll tag along for the ride. I will not make it happen with you. I'll be in the passenger seat.
Right.
I just want everyone listening to know Stephen Wagner has a beard.
Your beard is massive, Stephen.
I do. Thank you.
That's biblical, that thing.
Biblical beard.
Yeah.
And your voice is as deep as that naturally.
Aha.
Yeah.
So we did a cabaret that Stephen was in. Stephen and I played many different characters in that cabaret. Do you remember the Aladdin number when we played all the people that were not Aladdin?
Perfect.
For that part, we found like tutus backstage, but I could not get it around my waist. So like,
yeah, we just held it in front of us, and I held it in front of me as well in solidarity. So we did that, and then we did a Beatles cabaret. We did All You Need, which was a step up from that because nobody knew the songs except me. I love the Beatles, so I had to like teach everyone the songs. So that was my first experience music directing. And then after,
and you were bringing in decent attendance to these things. Were you doing them in the school?
Yeah, we were doing them in the school. So every year we raised more and more money. So first cabaret raised like $1,000. The second one raised like $2,000 or $3,000. Then we did Star Wars, which raised closer to $5,000, not quite $5,000, I think. That was when we did Star Wars, which was an absolute mess, but like so much fun.
It was so good.
It was so fun when it happened. The experience was horrible.
They were all messes like coming up to it, but then like it always came together.
Yeah, Star Wars was awesome, in which I was Darth Vader, Han Solo, and Uncle Owen, and Stephen was Obi-Wan Kenobi. He was excellent. And then we did Seussical, which we directed together, and it was a bold concept that we were really much too young to execute, but we really wanted to. And Steven was the Cat in the Hat, I was JoJo, and it was like we sort of started talking about before, a sort of darker, more minimalist reimagining of that, and we directed that together, and that was special.
And so you're continuing doing.
Yeah, I'm sort of. I've been talking to Steven about this. I'm sort of following this thread of what did we find in those moments of connection and that experience, and how can I continue on that? So I have a big concept that I'm working on. Yeah.
Oh, for Seussical, right? No, I meant your company.
Yes. After Seussical, we did. Was Be More Chill next?
Well, there was the cabaret.
Right, we did Gender Bent to raise money for Be More Chill because we wanted to do Be More Chill as like an actual show. And we did. So we did Gender Bent where we all switched, we did like a miscast thing. And then we did Be More Chill that summer, which Steven designed the set for. And actually, Frank, you kind of designed the set for Be More Chill. Because I called you and I was like, I don't know what to do with the show. And you were like, doorways. And then that's what we did.
I remember that. I do remember that. I was like, how much money do you have? And who can build your things, right? Wasn't that a thing?
Yeah, and the answer was a little bit, because we raised it in this cabaret, and Steven.
Yeah.
So you said doorways, because there's so many different like rooms in Be More Chill, and we had never had a set before. We did Seussical with no set on purpose. We did Star Wars with no set because we had no other choice. But Be More Chill, we had an opportunity, so we had like a set, sort of, and we did doorways and stuff printed in the doorways, and that was cool. And then we did The Last 5 Years, which is my favorite show that we've done, because we did like, we switched the actors playing the roles every night, so you had different genders, different configurations.
That was a great concept. That was a really cool concept. We were really upset we didn't get to make that.
Yeah,
we're going to do it
wanted to
again.
come to that
I
one.
really want to do it again. We had male, female, 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 male, male, female, male. And it was different actors every night. So more than an exploration of gender roles, which was also really, really interesting, it was just an exploration of different actors portraying different roles. So like Steven's Jamie versus Steven's Carrie, and my Jamie versus Steven's Jamie. And it was just really interesting. And doing that, Steven and I actually got to do a show together. Did we do two shows together or just one?
Just one. I was Carrie, you were Jamie.
Yeah, that was really, really special.
Yeah, and that was a really difficult thing to do. To learn, because last 5 years is hard in itself. Like, because it's a 2-person show, so you're learning half of the score. So when you learn both roles, you're learning
literally the
you're
entire
learning
show.
the whole thing, right?
I made all these kids learn the entirety of the last 5 years, which I will say most of us were familiar with at the very least. Like, there was nobody coming into that who was like, I've never heard of the last 5 years, I don't know any of this music, which was fortunate.
I have to tell you guys, I didn't want to. It's at the risk of sounding like a basic immature person. When you guys first said you were doing last 5 years, all of you, a group of teenagers, like you said, male, female, 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 male, male, the whole thing. You guys were what, 16 at the time?
Yeah.
I turned to Danielle and I said, wow, 16-year-olds are very different from when I was 16. Even if I had the confidence to do that. Because you guys had to be intimate in the show.
Yeah, Steven and I did kiss in the show. And both of our parents were like, we don't love this. We were like, well.
Yeah. But you had to.
My dad will still send a picture of me kissing Andrew. He'll just send it around.
Well, I have to say, the day you got cast in as Evan Hansen, I believe I texted Steven and said, wow, you've made out with Evan Hansen.
Well, I love telling this story because I directed the last 5 years as well, so all the rehearsals were just me. So when I was doing it, when I was in the rehearsal as well, it would just be me and one other person. So the first time Steven and I kissed, it was just me and him in my basement, just rehearsing the song.
That's amazing. No, but it wasn't just you guys. I mean, you also asked teenage girls to kiss, and you other guys.
That's right.
And that's something that I think it says a lot about our society. I think, and the acceptance and the way that these things are being viewed. And when I say that 16-year-olds are different, I meant that not that I wouldn't have had the confidence or the fortitude to do that, but I just think the way it would have been viewed was very different when we were your age, which was probably, almost 20 years ago, right? Or 10, 15 years ago. It's amazing how far it's come that you felt comfortable. Like you could do that. You weren't going to get beat up. You weren't going to get judged. Right. Maybe you'd get a snicker from your friends, but that's it. And like that was really impressive.
It was kind of so initially we discussed cutting the kiss because it was like I can't make all these people do this, but then as we went deeper into the rehearsal process, I was like, if we're telling this bold version of this story, we can't shy away from anything.
Right.
Sure.
You know, and if we're saying we're telling this story of these two gay men in a decaying relationship, and that's very bold of us, and please applaud us, but we're not going to kiss. Sorry, like that just wasn't
right.
That just didn't feel right at all.
Yeah, and also what you were saying, John, about you know the safety to do that. I think, you know, maybe it's like how far 16-year-olds have come, but I think specifically it speaks to theater people and how like theater, like there's no group of people more, you know, emotionally intelligent and aware than theater people. And that's why that's why we all get along. And that's why that's why theater people always become such good friends and become such a tight knit community, because who else is willing to tackle things like that and be comfortable and being vulnerable like that? Because being in any show is vulnerable, you know, putting yourself into the heart of a character, you know, and like opening yourself up like that is hard, and you have to be, you know, emotionally very open. So like, you know, I think it speaks to theater people in general.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree. Oh, by the way, but
absolutely.
for those of you who don't know, that very deep presence among us is Stephen Wagner, who we haven't addressed who you are. That's Stephen Wagner.
Stephen Wagner's been my best friend since second grade, and we have done so much theater together. And we talked about Stephen like at the very beginning of this, because I talked about how I got into RTC and everything.
And how you guys have no secrets, except Stephen didn't tell you he was coming on the podcast.
Right.
I don't think we have any secrets. Do we have any secrets? I don't think we have any secrets.
I think so. We've been through too much.
Yeah.
Too much together.
We figured we needed to have you guys on because you guys are like 15 years younger and like 30% more successful. John and Frank is how we like to think of it.
Definitely more than 30.
More than 30%.
Definitely more than 30, John.
100% more successful.
Oh my god. So can Steven join in the game? Yeah, of course.
Yes. I don't want
Go
to hold you guys for too long. So we're going to play the game, and then I have a couple little things that I want to ask about, and then we're
great.
Gonna,
All right, so we'll do it quick. We'll get through it quick. So this is our rating game. You have to rate the things. I'm going to tell you things. You got to rate them. There's no metric. You can rate them how you want. Usually we do a callback to something earlier in the episode that we talked about. So what should we rate them in terms of? Anybody?
Deeper blue stripes.
Deep or blue stripes?
Deep, no, because the stripes are blue and deeper blue.
Oh, great.
We'll go deep blue stripes.
Which is better?
How many stripes?
Oh, how many
better?
stripes?
How many stripes?
Yeah, how many stripes?
How many stripes?
Okay, so Andrew, we know how much you love chocolate milk, or at least you used to really love chocolate milk, but you still like chocolate milk.
Yeah, of course.
So we're going to rate the following things we associate with dairy. Here we go. Okay, Steven, you can play too. Number 1, please rate the following. The farmhand who takes just a little too long tugging the udders of the cows.
Oh, this is not...
That's it? That's it, Andrew. Rate that.
How many stripes would you give that guy?
Well, I just said it's cringy stripes. I don't know how the number of stripes, though.
I think...
Let's do it out of 10.
I think the actual guy, I'm rating him like 2 stripes, but the idea is a 10-stripe idea. I think that's very funny.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, next...
And the cow gets 15.
Yeah, he's been through enough. She's been through enough. Okay. Rate the following. Lactose intolerance.
I don't want to offend anyone that's lactose intolerant, but I'm going to say like the actual thing of being lactose intolerant gets like 2 stripes, because it's not great, but you're also, you can't have dairy, which is good for your weight probably.
I'll give it an 8 stripes though to rep, because I'm kind of lactose intolerant myself. So I'll
Okay.
To
So
rep
that was
the lactose intolerant community.
So can I tell a story? When I was a kid, I 100% up until recently, I thought it was lactose intolerant, as in you do not have much toast and you're okay with it. I'm lactose intolerant.
lactose intolerant.
Pretty recent.
He just
pretty
learned
recent.
it now.
Intolerant.
Like a week ago.
Yeah, like a week ago. Yeah.
Okay, so just to
When writing this episode.
just to recap, Andrew, you rate lactose intolerance 2, I believe. Was that
Yes.
something you said?
That
And
is what I
Steven,
said.
you rate lactose intolerance 8. So now we're going to rate. What about all other types of intolerance?
Ooh, I mean, that's a broad generalization. Intolerance socially is a 1. Be tolerant, you know?
Right. But what about intolerance of people who are intolerant?
Oh, well, that's a
that's
7
it.
or 8.
I have a no intolerance policy, so I do not tolerate intolerance.
Wow. Thank you, gentlemen. This is
that's
insightful. What about when people say the moon is made out of cheese?
10, love it.
I also love it. I think it's a great theory, and I hope it's true.
Okay.
Yes.
What about every adolescent girl who mistakenly wrote Dear Dairy instead of Dear Diary?
You know what? I'm going to rate them a 9 because they're just learning.
Okay.
They're growing, and they're going to
I have
look
to
back
tell
one
you.
day and say, how silly of me.
I don't want to know how many out there have in their books Dear Dairy, Andrew Barth Feldman.
I got to give it less than 9 because, Andrew, I don't think anyone who's doing that as a teenager is ever going to learn and look back and realize. I think they're going to keep writing Dear Dairy.
Yeah, they're going to look back and be like, can't believe I spelled diary so well back then.
Hey, right.
Yeah, right.
Okay, here's a quick one. This is a yes or no. People who bite string cheese, psychopaths?
I don't know what the alternative is. What's the alternative? You don't...
To rip it in strings.
Feel it.
Oh, you mean like bite like the whole... I don't want to call them psychopaths, but that's a 3 concept.
Like somebody who bites the banana from in the middle.
That is so different. That is so different.
John, no, what? Who bites the
thing?
banana in the middle?
If you peel a banana and you take a bite of it from the middle, you're a psychopath.
No!
There's something wrong with you.
Yes, you are, but that's different. I agree with you on that one, John.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one, there's 2 more. The next one is pretty long. Let me just get through it. Here it is. Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, eating her curds and whey. For God's sakes, where are her parents? Am I right?
What?
What a setup.
It's a huge setup.
That gets like an 8.5.
Well, she's
'cause, like,
eating
I
curds and whey, which that's like milk byproducts.
Curds and whey makes cheese.
Makes
Yeah,
cheese.
but they're. It doesn't say cheese.
I'm giving that an 8.5
Separate.
because I liked it, but I don't want to give you the satisfaction of a 10 for writing that.
Andrew's rating our jokes instead of rating the item. Do you notice that?
I think that's fair.
It's so funny.
It's fair.
Judging the writing.
Steven?
I'm going to give it like a 4 because that's like... Because as John said, it's kind of cheese, but the word curd makes me very uncomfortable.
Amazing. Last one. The cheesiest things I know. Me and John.
Oh,
That's true.
10 for you guys.
Yeah,
we get
baby.
a 10. Oh,
All right, that was the
wow.
rating game. Good job.
I love it.
So, my last thing I want to touch on a little bit. I know we talked about Star Wars, the musical, already. 2 questions associated with that. One is a quick question that then I'm going to move into the next one. When you posted about Star Wars, the musical, at 34 below, is that the place?
54 below. 54 below.
54 below. 34
Blocks
below
off.
is-
20 blocks downtown.
So when you guys did Star Wars the musical at a Baskin Robbins, that's what they have 34 below at Baskin Robbins. No, so when you did it at 54 below, and Mark Hamill messaged you on Instagram, on Twitter, and was like, "Hey, I love this. Can't wait to see the video." Mark Hamill, that's Luke Skywalker.
That's Luke Skywalker.
I died in this house.
Me too.
You must have been literally melting.
Well, he
into the
followed
room.
me from the Batman video.
Yes, I know. Oh yeah, that Batman video, which has taken off.
Taken
I
off.
don't know,
It's a life of its own. He followed me from the Batman video, and then that whole thing happened where he like, I really was a little bit trying to get him to make a cameo, but it didn't.
Oh,
I didn't
figured
really
you were,
try.
of
Like, I
course.
didn't ask, but I tweeted that it was happening at him like twice, and then he said, "Can't
Yeah, of
wait to watch
course.
the video on YouTube." And I was like, "That's the best answer for someone who will not watch the video on YouTube and not."
Sure.
But
But have you
He's wonderful.
met him? Have you interacted with him?
no, only on Twitter.
Wow. He didn't. So people have come to see the show, I'm sure, who like you were like, wow,
Yeah.
blown away.
Neil Patrick Harris was the biggest one.
Yeah, I knew
Neil
you were
Patrick
saying,
Harris. Wow,
He's-
blonde Frank.
Yeah, he's
Doogie.
Neil Patrick Harris, that's cool.
Yeah, he was big.
You love him.
Andrew's going to be Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah. No, that's...
Yeah.
We've gotten to talk a couple times, and he's like, I'm building a house that's circus themed, and I'm like, okay, yeah, well, it's like that's what I'm gonna be.
Yeah, cool, Neil Patrick Harris. Can you please? You're young enough. Can you identify and solidify yourself as that person who just says everybody's full name? Like when he just says to you, "I'm building a circus house," like that's really cool, Neil Patrick Harris. Just like.
Not the person
Make
whose
that
full
your
name is said.
thing.
The person who says everyone's full names. I
Right.
like that.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, wow, that's really cool. It's nice to meet you, Harrison Ford.
Hi, how are
yeah,
you,
no.
Tony Shalhoub?
Ooh, a good call. Oh, good
That was a
one.
good one, right?
I like that. I like that.
Well, because Steven and I met him together recently
Where?
Oh
at
yeah.
Emoji Land, the musical.
Ooh.
Oh, you met Tony Shalhoub?
Yeah, he was
huh?
there.
Why?
Wow.
He had a friend, I think, in it.
Yeah, he had a friend, because his friend from
The band's visit was in it. Yeah.
that one.
Did you ask him if you guys could be on Miss Maisel?
Yeah, I said, can we be on Miss Maisel? And he said yes. So look out for that.
But you
cool.
said Tony Shalhoub.
I said, hello, Mr. Tony Shalhoub.
Can we be on?
But you know what's great about Tony Shalhoub is that we had a short, wonderful, like truly so nice conversation about Tony Shalhoub, and then he patted Steven's back and did that dad thing where he just kind of left his hand there for a little while, and like
nice.
we started other conversations.
lingered.
It was awesome.
He was cleaning his glasses.
glasses.
Oh, he's just like us.
You always remember those kind of things. When we met the cast of Schitt's Creek, I was the only one there to meet them, and I was waiting for Eugene Levy, and he was not coming out, and I couldn't find him. Danielle had just peed with Catherine O'Hara, and like that was like
Did
whatever.
you?
It was
Yeah.
really
Did you
cool.
talk to her in the bathroom?
Yeah. She was talking to someone in front of me because she was like, she was drunk. She was like, I love your accent because she was European. And then we just like bullshitted, but it was funny.
I'm standing outside waiting, and the last person I need to get is Eugene Levy, and then I just get a tap on my shoulder, and it's him, and he just goes, "I hear you've been waiting for me," and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like yeah. And then we had a nice little conversation, but it was great. It was so funny that looked like. And you know what he is, Andrew? He's a human being, and I remember that story forever, and I will remember that story forever.
Yeah.
Just like my Alex Brightman story.
Yeah.
You compose music. That's where I was getting with Star Wars
Yes.
musical. So where, how, when, quick, how?
Ooh, I wrote my first song. I don't really know.
Did you have rights issues with Star Wars?
No, there were all sorts of parody laws protecting us.
Okay, but go on, yeah.
I just kind of have been like musically inclined for my whole life. It's sort of skipped generations in my family, but there's like my grandma was like a concert pianist, like a very, very talented, like Juilliard in high school concert pianist. And so it's just always sort of been in my blood. And I mean, Stevens probably knows when I started writing music better than I do because I was sending it to him as long as I can remember.
Right. I was going to say probably like 5th, 6th grade.
I know, yeah. I that's probably when I started writing my first song, and it's actually been nice. Now I've been writing a lot, and I'm going to start putting some more stuff out into the internet. But yeah, so Star Wars kind of happened. It just kind of happened. It was me and my friend Adrian wrote it. I wrote most of the music, and it just kind of happened. We said we want to do Star Wars musicals. We want to do a musical for every single Star Wars movie. That was still the plan. It's still sort of the plan, and then we did it. So yeah, it's the only full length musical I've written, but
That's more than me.
I'm working on more. But I do write music. Yeah.
It's so impressive.
Thank
Was it when you used to sit backstage and like compose with your headphones on? And
That's
I'd be sitting
right.
there like, this guy's writing music backstage. Like
That's right. I was making the logic tracks for Star Wars, I think.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
That sounds right. Yeah. I must have been doing... I was already doing RTC because, like, Carrie Ann was in there.
Maybe Guys and Dolls or something?
No, what were we doing? 2016.
Do you
So
remember you made the
Yeah, Guys and Dolls. I think it was Guys and Dolls.
2016?
Or maybe Guys and Dolls was a little before that. I'm not sure.
I feel like it was later.
I know one thing's for sure. It doesn't matter. All of Andrew's theater fans who are still listening are like, yeah, I get it. Guys and Dolls. Talk more about Evan Hansen.
Do you remember you made the music for Wait Until Dark?
I did! Oh my god, I
remember.
Susan Corning got me this beautiful painting as a gift from that, this beautiful painting that she found at like a thrift store or something of like just like this beautiful piano. It's still hanging over my bed. I wrote music for Wait Until Dark. Steven was the first person who heard it because I wrote it like at camp.
I remember we were at camp. We were like in the CIT lounge. You were like, yo, listen to this.
I was like, what about this?
I was playing Game Boy when I was a CIT. I don't know.
Well, there was a piano in the CIT lounge. But yeah, I did. You said, can you write music for Wait Until Dark? And I was like, yeah. And I remember Susan Corning had a joke that like if anyone read our emails out of context, they'd put us on like a watch list because all the emails were like, so this is where she stabs him with the knife and the doll filled with cocaine is on the floor. And
Yeah. But it was super cool. You wrote super cool stuff.
Thanks. I remember there was one version that I wrote of that was like the musical theater version of like pretty much that same thing that I remember you listened to. You're like, oh, it's the musical theater. It's the Broadway version.
That's
and
what I said?
I used it in a short film we made a couple years later.
There you go.
And then after that, Frank's next show, he asked me to be his music supervisor, and he was like, he's just pulling stuff off of YouTube now.
Surprise!
That's funny. Well, I want to thank you guys for doing this. Andrew, I want to thank you for making us seem really cool to Danielle's cousin.
Oh, that was the goal of all this.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah. That's Isabella, right?
Bella's going to be so
Bella,
happy.
yeah, well, yeah. And every time we see her, she's like, so have you seen Andrew Barth Feldman lately? So you've made us very cool with
That's
her.
That's very nice. Tell her I said hi.
Yeah. But no, I mean, what can we say? I can't gush over you. You're Andrew. Like, you're the brother Barth. That's it. You signed my playbill Barth because I asked you to.
I think you asked me to. You asked me to sign.
I did. In a crowded, you couldn't stop to talk, and you were doing the same signature, and I was like, sign it, Barth.
And I did.
So I have the only one that signed only Barth.
Sell it, John. We need money for the show.
Yeah.
We also want to thank Steven's beard for being here. It's righteous.
Yeah.
The rest of him was here, but not.
The rest of him wasn't as good.
An understated presence.
No.
Yeah.
It was really cool of you to join us, Stephen.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thank you for doing that.
It was a lot of fun.
Steve and I are
And
playing
you guys
Dungeons
both-
and Dragons tomorrow, so I got.
Oh,
That's what we were doing yesterday
cool.
also.
That's fun. Well, I actually want to ask you a favor, Andrew. If you can get in the ears of any of your, Broadway friends or anything, and just let them know, like, I get it's a tough time. Everybody's quarantined right now. I don't need to hear everybody singing. I'm okay. If I hear one more parody song about coronavirus, I'm gonna kill myself. Like
the Les Mis one. Did you see the Les Mis one?
Yes.
That was awesome.
No,
Yes.
It's funny. I get it. It's funny. One day more, it's banned. I want to social distance myself from one day more. No more of that. Singing, I get it. Like we want to bring entertainment to the world. That's what we're doing. That's why we haven't stopped, right? We want to make people, if you want to call them plural, laugh. But I don't need to hear everybody sing slow versions of whatever song they choose, and they think that I'm over it. I'm over it. It's quarantine. Leave me alone.
Here's what I have to say. There are some people, like, yes, there is such an oversaturation of content from the Broadway community right now. Like there's so much. But there are some people who are just like, I only love, I don't know, like Brian Stokes Mitchell. I don't want to see anything from anyone else. So when Brian Stokes Mitchell posts a song, that handful of people is like, oh, thank God this is getting me through the quarantine. And that's
absolutely
what matters.
100%. I agree. And I have to say, that was a mispointed rant. I do not mean to point that rant at the Broadway community because I think you're absolutely right. People want to see fans want to see people who they're fans of. Andrew Lloyd Webber posts himself sitting at a piano.
Great.
He'll be playing Happy Birthday. I will watch it. And that's pretty much any, celebrities and Broadway people. That's not who I meant. Singing to get through the quarantine. And it's people like us. And that's really nice. I don't need it.
Absolutely.
It sounds like I'm backtracking. I'm not. That was not a rant pointed at the people.
I believe you.
From
I believe
the Broadway celebrity community who are singing to entertain their fans. It's people who have no fans and are like, now's the time for me to do this.
This
I'm like,
is the moment.
It's not the time for your dramatic. This is the
Okay,
moment.
listen.
On
I
Smule.
will say,
Get your Smule out of here.
I need to add on John's thing. I'm not a hater in terms of. If you want to make it. God bless you. But I'm going to say this as a director: if you're going to sing, and you're going to do it in your house, and you're singing your song, don't look directly into the camera.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you're touching me. Just look a little above the camera, to the left of the camera. But when you sing Everything's Coming Up Roses directly into your webcam, it goes in me. Don't put it in me. Let me just come to it.
I get that you have. I understand that you have great acoustics in your bathroom.
It's fine.
If I'm looking at the wall of the shower, get out of the bathroom. Go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. Fix your audio too. You want to sing? Fix your audio. Sound like Andrew's audio. Don't sound like Steven's audio, where he sounds like he's on the moon. Sound like Andrew's audio. No, it's fine.
Steven, where are you? Is a cabin? What am I looking at?
Yeah, he's in a cabin.
Where?
I am. That's what. I'm not actually in my normal house.
Have you seen A Quiet Place? He's there.
Oh, John Krasinski's on the couch. Wow.
Well, Frank, do you have any final words here?
Any final words? I just think that Stephen, Andrew, your success will be astronomical, both of you, and we'll pay to see you a lot more and spend a lot more money on you. So
that's very nice. Steven's going to NYU. That guy.
That's right. Steven's going to NYU.
Good. We'll still see him.
Yeah.
Harvard and NYU.
You're never seeing me again after this. This is my farewell.
The Elwoods and the Olsen twins. There they are. Harvard and NYU.
Me and the beard. The beard is the other one.
Danielle, do you have any final words for the fellas?
I just wanted to say, so I didn't actually get to talk when we were talking about Dear Evan Hansen. I just wanted to say, when we saw you, Andrew, play that part, it was really incredible. I had never, as John said, we didn't have any background on the show, and the show in itself really hit me, took me back to a place of my 16-year-old self, and it was just fantastic.
Thank you very much. It's a special show.
She cried. She cried the whole time.
I mean,
listen,
I
me
sobbed
too.
multiple times.
Yeah, you did. You did cry the whole time. That's right.
Yeah.
But I love you both so much.
We love you.
I think it's important. We like to drive home. Recently, we've been wanting to ask our guests, what is it that makes them a nobody? And I know it's a little bit of an on-the-spot question, but
sure.
Steve,
you wanna go first?
Steve, what makes you a nobody?
I would love to go first. Well, first of all, my sound quality definitely makes me a nobody.
No, I just found very deep.
And something that I apologize for. But other than that, I guess like you were saying, like nobody really cares. A good friend of mine, his favorite line, his favorite quote is "Nobody gives a shit." So it's kind of like how you were saying. If you want to sing, you want to put that out there, that's fine. But there's a good chance that there will be people like you out there screaming at the camera, screaming at the computer, logging on just to find it, just to say, "I do not care."
You know what, Steven? Not only do I admire your poor sound quality, but I admire how you didn't answer that question correctly.
No, he did. He decided to judge me. He decided to judge me for being a judge of these people posting videos.
Steven, stop it. Hey, hang him up, please. Enough of Steven.
I'm agreeing that I'm also nobody. Nobody cares what I have to put out into the world.
What?
That's right. Keep it. No.
All right.
He's right.
I don't understand.
I'm a nobody because I just like stuff.
That's right.
I would say my opinion doesn't count, but I don't have opinions. I just like stuff, and I
think everybody needs to be a nobody. I think that's where we start from. Everybody needs to be a nobody. If you think you're a somebody, you're not even a nobody. You're a waste.
Yeah, I agree. And I sure as heck don't think I'm somebody.
I think that's important.
You are somebody.
Frank, he's supposed to say that.
All
Frank.
right, but we're going too much on the other side now. We have to be both somebodies and nobodies.
We can be everyone's somebody and everybody's nobody. I look at myself as a nobody. I just like to do stuff, and I do this stuff that I like to do. And
that's the answer. Good. There it is.
There you go.
Wow. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Wagner and Andrew Barth Feldman.
Thank you guys so much for having us.
You've been listening to the Nothing Podcast with Nobody Important, a cool side production, hosted by John Panepinto and Frank Caiati, with contributors Matt Hunt, Joe Hagopian, and Tom Zaccheo, and engineered by me, Danielle Rosefisher. Find us online at nothing-podcast.com, and be sure to rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever fine podcasts are distributed.